Okay, so still on the endocrine system. In this video, we'll be concentrating on the pineal gland. Okay, kindly support the channel by clicking on the like button, drop a comment, and also do well to share content on the channel to your friends who may find the content very useful. Okay, let's focus on the pineal gland. The pineal gland. In fact, the pineal gland is also known as the epiphysis cerebri. Okay, that is another name for the pineal gland, epiphysis cerebri. This gland is actually a small pine cone shaped endocrine gland located in the brain. Is that okay? In fact, this gland is actually anatomically, it is situated in the brain, specifically between the two hemispheres, in a groove where the two halves of the thalamus actually joins. So this is where the pineal gland is located. You see, we have the thalamus over here and we have the hypothalamus over here. Okay, and it's situated at this region. Okay, so it's situated in between the thalamus. Is that okay? Great. So that is the pineal gland. So another name for the pineal gland is the epiphysis cerebri. Okay, and we are saying that this gland is a small pine cone shaped endocrine gland. And in fact, this is the reason why we call it the pineal gland. Okay, because of its appearance, the shape. Okay, a small pine cone shaped endocrine gland located in the brain, once thought to be the seat of the soul. Okay, by Rennes Descartes. Okay, this gland is about 8 to 10 millimeters long in children, and it shrinks after age 7 through involution. Okay, like I said, it is located on the roof of the third ventricle beneath the posterior end of the corpus callosum near the center of the brain. Is that okay? So you see, here is the inferior colliculus. Okay, this is the inferior colliculus. This is the superior colliculus over here. So you see, it's located superior to the, on top or just above the superior colliculus. Is that okay? Great. And then we have the corpus callosum. This structure you are seeing over here is the corpus callosum. So you see, the pineal gland is just inferior. Is that okay? It's just inferior to, you know, the end of the corpus callosum. So this is the corpus callosum. So you can see the pineal gland is just located just inferior to the corpus callosum and superior to or on top of the superior colliculus. Is that okay? Colliculus. All right, so that is the location of the pineal gland. So you can say the pineal gland is located closer to the thalamus, where the two thalamus actually joins together. Is that okay? And also, specifically, it is located in between, okay, in between the superior colliculus and then the corpus callosum. Is that okay? This structure is what we call the corpus callosum. Okay, so this is the pineal gland. Is that okay? In this diagram, this is where we have the pineal gland. Okay, great. Now, let's go deeper. Let's look at the structures in the pineal gland. In fact, the pineal gland is surrounded by a capsule and connected to the third ventricle by a stalk. It is composed mainly of pinealocytes. Okay, this is the name given to the hormone producing cells in the pineal gland, pinealocytes. Is that okay? Good. And then in between the pinealocyte, we have supporting cells. We call them interstitial glial cells. Okay, so this is the hormone producing cell in the pineal gland, pinealocytes. Okay, they are the hormone producing cells in the pineal gland, the pinealocytes. Is that okay? Or you can say they are the hormone secreting cells, the pinealocytes, or the secreting cells. And then we have the glial cells, the interstitial glial cells. They are supporting cells. Now, the primary hormone produced by the pineal gland is melatonin. That is the primary hormone produced by the pineal gland. Okay, and this hormone is secreted mostly at night. The work of this hormone is to regulate your circadian rhythm, okay, your sleep-wake cycle. And then this hormone may also delay puberty by inhibiting gonadotropin release. Is that okay? Great. Now, the secondary product produced by this gland is serotonin. That is a secondary product. The primary hormone produced by the gland is melatonin. The secondary product produced by the gland is serotonin. Okay. In fact, serotonin is rather synthesized during the day and they are converted to melatonin at night. They also play the same role. They help regulate mood and contribute to melatonin production. Okay, so like I said, we have two different types of cells in the pineal gland. We have the pinealocytes. They produce and secrete melatonin and serotonin. Then we have the GLIAL-like interstitial cells. They provide structural and metabolic support. Now, the target organs for the hormones produced by the pineal gland, we have the hypothalamus and then we have the pituitary gland. Okay, by targeting the hypothalamus is going to influence the circadian rhythm and hormonal timing. Okay, by targeting the pituitary gland, it may inhibit the release of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, thus delaying sexual maturation. Okay, so basically the function of the pineal gland is to coordinate biological rhythms, may contribute or may play a role in regulating the onset of puberty. It also influences seasonal reproductive cycles in animals and also serves an antioxidant role in the brain. Okay, so basically that is the pineal gland. Is that okay? So the chief function of this pineal gland, the hormone produced by the pineal gland, melatonin and serotonin, is regulation of circadian rhythm. Okay, regulation of circadian rhythm. Okay, now when we say circadian rhythm, what does it mean? When we say circadian rhythm, what are we talking about? Circadian rhythm is more like a biological clock. Okay, it's like a biological clock which regulates physiological, mental, and behavioral changes following roughly the 24-hour cycle that you go through as a human being in a day. Okay, so that is primarily influenced primarily by the light and darkness in the environment. Is that okay? That is what we call the circadian rhythm. Do you get it? So it comes with stages. Circadian rhythm comes with stages, like the daytime where there is light exposure. During the daytime, that is when melatonin secretion is going to be inhibited. Do you get it? And usually during that time, body temperature and metabolism is usually higher. So mostly that will bring about alertness and then cognitive performance. Usually cognitive performance is going to be optimized during that time. Do you get it? So, and that is the reason why during that time melatonin secretion is very minimal. Okay, and then we have the night time. During the night time, that is when melatonin secretion increases. Okay, and that induces sleep. Okay, and that's the reason why when is this circadian rhythm that also helps you if you should change your environment. You go to a place where, let's say, the time changes. You realize that with time you get used to that environment. You start sleeping at the time they sleep. You start waking up at the time they wake up. Do you get it? It's because of this gland, the pineal gland. Is that okay? It uses the day or the light exposure and then the night time or the darkness exposure. Do you get it? To regulate your sleep-wake cycle. That is what we call the circadian rhythm. Is that okay? So during the night time there is darkness, and because of that melatonin secretion is going to increase. Okay, and that will induce sleep. Okay, and when during that time body temperature of humans will usually drop. And that is when repair, growth, and processes are going to dominate in the body. Do you get it? This is what we call the sleep-wake cycle. Is that okay? So during the daytime where there is light exposure, melatonin secretion is going to decrease or going to be inhibited. And during that time, you realize that during the daytime light exposure, that is when you have a lot of metabolic activities taking place. And usually body temperature tends to be averagely very high during that time. And that brings about alertness, and then high cognitive performance are usually optimized. Do you get it? But during the night time, when there is darkness, you are exposed to darkness, melatonin secretion tends to increase, and that induces sleep. That makes your body temperature to also drops. Then it is during that time that metabolic activity tend to reduce a little, and that's what causes the drop in the body temperature. And then repair and growth processes will dominate during that time. Is that okay? And this is what we call the circadian rhythm. You get it? We call the circadian rhythm. And then the chief gland that plays a role in that regulation is the pineal gland. Is that okay? Great. So in summary, so this is the pineal gland. So in summary, the pineal gland, like we said, is located inferior to the corpus callosum. So this structure is what we call the corpus callosum. Okay, so the pineal gland is located just below the corpus callosum and on top of the superior colliculus. Okay, so this is the superior colliculus. So you see the pineal gland is just superior to it and is beneath the corpus callosum. Is that okay? If you are looking at it or you are describing its location in terms of the thalamus, it is located just in between or at the level of where the two thalamus actually join together. Is that okay? Great. So basically that is the pineal gland. We also call it the epiphysis cerebri. Epiphysis cerebri. Is that okay? And it's a small pine cone shaped endocrine gland located in the brain. Okay, like I said earlier, we have two cells within this gland. We have the pinealocyte. In fact, the pinealocyte is the main cell within this gland. The pinealocyte, that's the primary cell. And then we have the interstitial glia cells or glia-like cells. Okay, so the primary hormone produced by this gland, in fact, this gland produces two hormones, melatonin and serotonin. Okay, but the primary hormone produced by this gland is melatonin. This hormone, melatonin, is secreted mostly at night. And this is the hormone that regulates the sleep-wake cycle that I explained. Okay, and then the circadian rhythms. Is that okay? Yes. And then this hormone too may delay puberty and may inhibit gonadotropin release. Is that okay? It may delay puberty and then it may also inhibit gonadotropin release. Is that okay? Good. Now, the secondary hormone produced by this gland is the serotonin. Serotonin is synthesized during the day. Okay, serotonin, on the other hand, is synthesized during the day. Okay, and when it's synthesized, it is converted to melatonin at night. So it is synthesized during the day, but converted to melatonin at night. And that helps to regulate moods and contribute to melatonin production. That is serotonin. That's a secondary hormone produced by the gland. So in summary, we have two cells within this gland, pinealocytes and then glia-like interstitial cells. The glia-like interstitial cells provide structural and metabolic support. Okay, what are the target organs for the hormones produced by the pineal gland? We have two target organs. The hypothalamus. When it targets the hypothalamus, it influences the circadian rhythm and hormonal timing. When it targets the pituitary gland, it's going there to inhibit follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone release. You realize that we mentioned that this gland may delay puberty by what? By inhibiting gonadotropin release. Do you get it? Yes. So it can target the pituitary gland, and when it targets the pituitary gland, it's going to inhibit the release of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. That's delaying sexual maturation. Is that okay? So basically, that is it. Remember, so if you are asked that which gland, which hormone plays a role in sleep-wake cycle, is that okay? Then we are talking about the pineal gland. Okay, so sleep-wake cycle is like a daily pattern of alternating sleep and wakefulness, and that is regulated by the circadian rhythm. It's the same thing. Is that okay? Great. So basically that is it for the pineal gland. Okay, that is it for the pineal gland. All right, so kindly support the channel by sharing this content to your friends who may find it very useful. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that anytime there is an update, you'll get a notification. Do well to also leave a comment. Is that okay? See you in our next video. Bye bye.